Welcome back. In this video, I'm going to build an entirely new case for the Adam keyboard using genuine Lego pieces that I've bought online. So let's get into that, shall we? So first off, if you're interested in buying the KBDCraft store Adam or any of the stuff that you can get on the website there, check out my description below where you'll find a discount code and an affiliate link where you can basically go to the KBDCraft store website and get everything at a 5% discount. Kind of equates to getting you free shipping most of the time, so yeah, go and check that out. So basically, I bought every single brick that I needed to build the case Adam, or the Adam case if you like, from a European website to make sure that I had every single brick that I needed. And I'll put the website link in the description below for anyone else that's in Europe. Also in the description below, I'll make a list basically of the Lego pieces that you need for this build, so it will include the name of the pieces, the part number, and the quantities that you need so as you can build your own Adam case. I'm not going to say that this is a particularly cost-effective way of doing this because it's not. Buying every single brick individually is going to cost you more than if you just buy a big box of Lego. You'll get nowhere near the same amount of Lego as you will in a big box of Lego, but of course then you also can't guarantee that you'll get the correct pieces. Including shipping, it cost me €90 to make the Adam case with the genuine Lego pieces that I've got here, but that did include a few extra pieces, and it also included some extra pieces to make some feet. Additional to this, there was limited availability on several of the pieces that I needed to make the Adam case, and several colours were sold out. This meant that I couldn't achieve the exact colourway that I was after because basically, yeah, the colour that I wanted would be sold out. On a few of the pieces, they literally had only one colour available. That being said, the idea of this video is to show you that you can make an entire Adam case from genuine Lego. As I said in my last video, there's going to be no way of buying genuine Lego for building the Adam case cheaper than you can get the full case kit basically off the KBD store website, and it's also worth keeping in mind that they're releasing more colorways soon. As well as the new case build, I'll also be modding this keyboard. The mods that I'll do will include Holee modding and lubing the stabilizers, the PE foam mod, the Tempest mod or the tape mod as it's known as well, dampening the case using Gokka foam, and installing a different set of keycaps. These mods will completely change how the keyboard sounds and feels, and I will show you the difference basically in the typing test. Okay, so let's get into it. I wasn't able to purchase an additional Core 64 kit for the build, which includes the PCB, plate foam and gasket foams. This is basically the heart of the keyboard around which you can build a case with Lego. This means I had to use the Core 64 which came with my Adam kit, with my fingers crossed that the gaskets would peel off okay, otherwise I'd have to make something myself. So first off, I built up the new case from the bottom plates up to the point which the gaskets are installed. You can see I went for a blue colorway. As the build progresses, you'll see that grey was my second choice of color and black was the third. You'll see some red and green eventually, as this was the only option available for those pieces. Once the case was ready for the gaskets, I did some disassembly on the original Adam keyboard to remove the plate and PCB assembly, or the module as it's known, and to get to the gaskets. Luckily the gaskets peeled away from the original case pretty well and were sticky enough to install in the new case. At this point it was time to work on the mod so I could install the module into the new case. So first we have to disassemble it all the way for the PE foam mod. The PE foam mod is where you place a thin sheet of PE foam on the PCB so as it sits between the PCB and the bottom of the switches. This mod gives a nice creamy sound as it's known in the hobby. Best I can describe it, creamy is kind of a deeper and richer sound. Next I'll sort the stabilizers out. Different stabilizers require different mods or slightly different variations of the same mods to get them to sound nice. My go-to mod for rattly stabilizers is the Holee mod using 0.15mm pour-on Holee mod stickers. These are super easy to apply to the kit Adam stabilizers, as the stabilizers come without any lube, meaning the stickers stick without issues. From here we do our lube job on the stabilizers. My go-to lube job is to lube the outside of the stems and the inside of the housings with Krytox 205 grade 0. Then I dip the wires in dielectric grease to lube between the wire and the inside of the stems and between the wire and the housing clips. With the stabilizers done, we can install them and move on to assembly of the plate and PCB. This one is an easy assembly as it's screwless. You just stack up the plate foam and PCB, then secure them together by installing switches. The best way to secure it all together is by using the corner and stabilizer switches. Before installing all the switches, you need to test your stabilizers. To do this, you just install the keycaps and go to town on them. It was a good job I did this, as I realised I'd forgotten to cut the PE foam under the stabs so I could feel and hear the PE foam on the bottom of the keystroke. I only needed to remove those few switches to rectify this. Once that was sorted and the plate and PCB assembly was back together, I did the Tempest mod, or tape mod as it's known, which is just sticking a few layers of masking tape on the underside of the PCB. I went for just 2 layers on this one. Everyone says something different about what the Tempest mod does. A more poppy sound, a more muted sound, slightly more amplified. You hear all sorts about it. For me, it always seems to make a marked improvement in the sound of any keyboard that has a slightly cheaper or hollower sound, so it's great on keyboards with a plastic case. Then once that was done, I installed the keycaps so as the module was ready for installation in the keyboard. From here, I installed the Gokka foam. It's a tight fit installing the module on top of Gokka foam on most keyboards, and we'll change the feel of the gasket system in this one. That said, the gasket system is fairly basic, so it's just a change, not necessarily making anything worse. With the module installed, we can move on to building the rest of the case above the gasket system. You can see that this is where my colorway went a little bit wrong due to the availability of Lego pieces. Once the case was built, I played around making some feet to get a good typing angle for me. I was able to do this as I bought stackable Lego plates instead of base plates. The stock base of this keyboard is made up of a 16x32 and an 8x16 base plate side by side, but to make this stackable, I bought 2 16x16 plates and an 8x16 plate. This allows me to stack off the bottom and install those feet. Once I got the typing angle right and the look I wanted from the side, I made a set of rubber feet using the feet off some old keyboards and some double-sided sticky foam I already had. I'll come up with something a bit better on future builds. So let's see how it sounds. And there we have it. It's a big improvement for me, but keep in mind that I have done the mods on this one to my taste. Keep in mind that this keyboard was made to sound like Lego bricks being clipped together. That's what KBD Store were aiming for, I believe. And every single mod that I've done will change that slightly and move away from what they were aiming for, if you like. Modding isn't for the purists out there. If you want your DIY kit keyboard to sound exactly how the manufacturers kind of intended, then you should just build how they instruct you to build them. Modding is about taking a keyboard and making some kind of undeniable improvements, but also modding it to your taste. As I said, some mods will make undeniable improvements. Lubing stabilizers, for example, if before lube they're rattly, and then after lube they're not rattly, then that's an improvement. That's an undeniable improvement. Other mods, you know, you might do the PE foam mod and think the keyboard sounds better, but someone else might think it sounds worse. That's where your taste and how you want your keyboard to sound and feel comes into play. The keyboard and components obviously still play a massive role in how the keyboard sounds and feels, so you should make sure that your mods are kind of done correctly. Lubing should be kind of subtle so as you still hear the sound of the switch coming through, because doing stuff like over lubing stabilizers and switches, it does become like a step in the wrong direction. But like I say, the keyboards and components still play a massive role, because if you modded every single keyboard you got exactly the same, they would still all sound completely different. This was just the first step for me really in terms of the KBD Craft Store Lego keyboards. The Core 64 kits are back in stock, so I can basically buy a couple of those and a bunch of Lego and go crazy. And that's where KBD Craft Store have really created something cool here. The Core 64 kits are just €37, so less than $40, and it's designed to land off in Lego with a separation of 36 by 14 studs. This means that you can build whatever you want around the Core 64 as long as you create that interface, that kind of case part of the keyboard, which is 36 by 14 studs. The possibilities really are endless, and I really must say I think that this is an awesome piece of kit. And I think that's about it. Click on the card there, which should be on the screen by now, if you want to see my other video in which I go more into the specifications and stuff. Other than that, I'll just leave you on saying Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and don't forget to check out the description below to get some discount on the KBD Craft Store website. That was a mouthful. Okay, catch you in the next one.